opening of Parliament, President Jacob Zuma will deliver his State of the Nation address, one of the biggest events on the country's calendar. To tell us more about the preparations and logistics for the event, we are now joined by Lechesa Tsenoli, who is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Thank you so much for joining us, Deputy Speaker. Good to have you on the programme.
Thank you, Leon, and good morning to your listeners.
Yeah, good morning indeed, because a big day. It's a big day tomorrow, it really is. But unfortunately, I need to address a couple of issues that people are worried about. Let's start off with the media and the so-called media precinct. We saw you in a press conference denying any knowledge of a media precinct, and that the journalists covering this event are not going to be restricted in any way. Can you confirm, has this now been sorted out?
No, Leon, let me explain this story about the media square and so on. What I was contesting was the validity of restricting people to any place, be it called a square or not. But when I afterwards asked, but where does this come from? I realized that they are referring to a place where media is often set up. Here in Cape Town, outside, in front of the National Assembly, where they operate from. They have offices in Plain Street to which they often go to and so on. So the question of their restriction seemed to me very odd, because it would suggest that people are now held there and they can't move in any way to do their work, which they normally do. Moving along the outside of the red carpet and so on, taking photographs, talking to people and so on. I couldn't imagine how anybody could think of restricting that movement of people. And I was conveying to the media that I don't expect that to happen. The media got hold of, as I now understand, an internal matter addressed to staff. I don't read staff letters, which are many, through the internal process. And so the communication of the secretary with them and so on. And he explained, when I asked him, no, it couldn't have meant that it means we are restricting people from moving that, because it would be wrong. Politically, he wouldn't have had authority from us to do that as the presiding officers.
So as it stands right now, that was just an internal memo that managed to get out to the media. This is what you're saying, and it is not true. The media are free to move around as they normally did. They're allowed entrance into the Marx building. They're allowed entrance onto the carpet to interview all of the political parties, get commentary, and they don't need to be accompanied, as it has been said in reports. So is it going to be as normal for the media?
Yes. And let me explain this. You've also seen here in Parliament during that parliamentary staff often takes people around who don't know the whereabouts of the place here and so on, and they escort them from one place to another because they don't know them. And this is normal. That's what happens every time, because we have visitors who don't know the place, who come during that time here and so on. So as part of that process, there will be people who will be escorting others and so on. I don't know how anybody thought that police would be doing that in the first place. It's like just a nasty view that I don't know where it came from, quite frankly.
All right, so we've put that to rest, and I'm hoping that has put that rumour to rest. Now, let's talk about the SANDF now and the deployment, because I think you're going to have a busy day, and the rest of the Speaker of the House as well. The DA very against the fact that 441 SANDF members have been deployed for tomorrow and Friday to look after the parliamentary precinct. Why? Why are we going to such drastic measures?
Leon, the determination of that level of detail would be done in the security cluster, but also on the basis, I would imagine, of their assessment of what happened in the past. What they are picking up is going to be happening. The city of Cape Town, I said yesterday, and Parliament often interact together to ensure that there is appropriate management of crowds around the city, communication with the public about the movements, so that the disruption that does occur to their normal activity is understood to be only for certain hours. And that part of that process includes the city itself has applications for people to gather around Parliament for political protest. And in our view, such activities are welcome as long as they are peaceful and that they are conducted in a manner that does not interrupt with the work of Parliament and or people and residents around the precinct of Parliament. In my view, it would be out of looking at those and other assessment that the security cluster may have come to the conclusion that that's what is needed because of what they know. I don't know the details of everybody who have applied together and so on. But in addition to that, Leanne, you know that some people have taken advantage and abused the legitimate protest and marches of people around Cape Town and other cities and destroyed property and pelted police and others in and around here when what should have happened is a legitimate public protest and or march as would have been agreed to and so on.
Many
so
people
any
are calling this, but
have...
Deputy Speaker, many people are calling this paranoia. They're calling it over-the-top security. They're calling it the militarization of Parliament. They're calling it a dictatorship of leadership. Things that we've never seen before here in South Africa. I mean, we've often heard communities and the city of Cape Town itself, if you say that you've gone in with the city of Cape Town. The city of Cape Town have asked for the SANDF to be deployed in areas where gangsterism, drug abuse, murder on a daily basis takes place. And yet, 441 SANDF, along with police, are now going to be at Parliament, something that's unprecedented. They're normally there for ceremonial purposes. Are you scared of opposition? Is the president scared that the people may come through and do things that he does not want to see or perhaps doesn't want the nation to see?
I've just said to you, Leanne, that determination would be made by the executives who consider what they know, what they've had is likely to happen, may happen, and so on. I'm not privy to some of those details. What I am saying is that part of what we assume often is we never thought that people would storm Parliament and break in fences and so on like they did last time in what was otherwise a legitimate march to Parliament. And I think that when people come to those conclusions, militarization is not on at all. It can't be that way. All that I think is appropriate is for the assurance of the visitors from the judiciary, from the executive, from members of Parliament and guests, including foreign visitors who represent their country, to be assured of their safety whilst here, so that we do not assume, as we have done in the past, that things will happen ordinarily in a way that we would be happy with the outcome and so on. Given the what has happened in the past.
The final question, and I know I'm sure we'll be speaking to you more before tomorrow, but just a final question. The reality is you can set up as much security outside of the precinct, but it's inside Parliament, and obviously there have been a lot of threats by the EFF, and this is behind a lot of this increased security, no doubt. But inside the House, is there going to be more security than usual at the opening of Parliament?
No. Inside Parliament, there are rules and there are systems that we have spoken about, Leanne, that we've been able to handle that stuff in the past. So the usual systems that have been seen before will apply. I don't think there's anything new that is going to be done this time around.
All right, we'll leave it there. I know there's so much to talk about, just in the interest of time. Thank you for touching on the key issues, though. Lechesa Tsenoli, of course, is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, joining us from our Cape Town studios. And we'll, of course, be talking a lot more about that. And we'll give you full coverage tomorrow here on the programme as we broadcast from a completely different area. We will be crossing to Parliament, but we're also coming to you live from District 6 tomorrow. So we're taking the broadcast to the people and finding out what they want from the State of the Nation address tomorrow. All right, let's take a